Good morning and welcome to another preview of the racing today at the Vaal from Outsider Genie. Um, Before we go on, I just want to remind you, if you want to receive our daily preview, please just click on the subscribe button and ring the bell and you will be notified when a new video is posted. And then also, please bear in mind that I work on an online computer form and sometimes this document takes a while to scroll up and down. So if you see that there's a bit of a pause or a bit of a silence, then I'm just battling to go up and down with the document. So I'll be reading offline, so I'm going to go into the computer form now and we can discuss today's racing. We kick off with the first race where my first selection is number 1. And that is Single Red Rose. Single Red Rose ran a very good race last time out and just got run out of it at the dev by Roxalana, which was like a 50 to 1 shot. He's ridden by Kay Fisher. It's a lady rider. I think her father also used to be a trainer, I'm not sure, but Dennis Fisher, I think, was his name. Single Red Rose has got the best form by far of any horse in this race. There is a first timer, and I really am looking forward to hear the commentator pronounce this name. The horse's name is Herstel, which is Afrikaans name. That means to recoup. It's like when you're having a bit of a hangover, you have to herstel from it in the morning, you know. So, but I see it's Chris van Niekerk in partnership with Ralph's Racing. So therefore it's trained by Dawson, but I see the jockey is the jockey that always rides for Sean Terry in these races, and this horse is actually also favourite at 28 to 10. So when you do your bets, keep this in mind. And then, further, on this field is, and I really would no disrespect to the trainers, is not a very strong field. A horse that you can also keep your lookout is also another first timer. It's 14. It's got very interesting breeding. I haven't seen this breeding. It's a Kerrari out of a horse chestnut mare. Now, horse chestnut have upgraded some of his mares. So St. John bred this horse himself. And I also look at a jockey. I'm not sure that I've seen this jockey ride. As a matter of fact, I think there's a few new jockeys in this race. But maybe if you do your calculations and throw this horse into your quartet as well with the other first timer, number 12. We then move on to race number 2, which is a maiden plate. And here's also a few horses with chances. My first choice is number 2, Cell Connection. I also did make it my best bet of the day, but at 3 to 1. So this horse is improving all the time. In its second last race behind Captain Hindsight, and I don't think Captain Hindsight is a donkey. This horse was fastest 400 to finish. And then on this last run, he ran into a little bit of trouble at the 400 meters mark, and that was in a work riders race. Today we've got Pierce Stradom on board, and although this horse ran behind number 1, behind Captain Hindsight, Blow Me Down, I do think that this horse will improve and can reverse that placings. Blow Me Down has beaten it twice, because they also ran against Green Gusto, where he was free in 8.8 lengths behind number 1. And then behind Captain Hindsight, there was also a length difference with Captain Blow Me Down running on from behind. But I think Cell Connection is improving and will run a very good race today. Another horse that you can include is number 3, Josie Hassel. This gets -2.5. And has been improving slowly, so can also be involved in the finish. And then there is some other horses in this race that might have a chance, but those first 3 I would think is the main principles. There is a first timers of What the Winter, number 10, from Side Stable, and then there's a horse called Jim. Now I wonder how the English guys is gonna do. The English commentator is gonna produce that. I'm also looking to hear that one. That's gonna be interesting, Jim. And then also Vaal with Lavina Dawson combination. It is also had a few fair runs, 5 lengths behind, can also improve. Do include into your calculations. We then move on to race number 3, which is also a maiden plate. And in my mind, this field is also not too strong. And number 1, Creation, should go very close to win this race. He is the favorite. At the moment, his betting is 37 to 20. Yeah, all this new strange bettings. I'm not used to it. I'm still used to the old betting things, but yeah, you have to go with the new trend. I had a very nice run last time behind Whipping Boy, and Whipping Boy came to fetch him at the end. Whipping Boy going away by 3.75 lengths. But a few runs back, he was fastest 400 meters behind Oscar Wilde on a Turpentine 1450. Today's distance is also 1450, and I think this distance will suit this horse. Only a little bit of a problem is number 11 draw, but I'm sure Kumalo can overcome that. In the other horse, has a good chance is Untamed Tiger. Untamed Tiger from the Sham stable, Juggle, drawn 8. This horse has been there and thereabouts, but not really. I mean, he hasn't been close to the winner in all the runs that you can see here. The closest he came is 2.25. But again, this is not a very strong field. You know, there's you're gonna. So I have in my pick 6. I just went with number 1 and 2. There is a few outsiders you can look in for your quartets and stuff. I'm expecting number 4, Bartholomeus, to run improve. He's drawn 16. But he had a little bit of improvement last time out at Scottsville, actually. He ran 6 lengths behind the winner. So that might be worth including into your quartets, as well as number 3, Epagali, drawn 10. Has been there about 4 lengths behind, 2 lengths behind, so can be included for the quartets. Then also you can also look at number, let me just see here. Also horses that you can look at is number 13, Torben Spirit, only had 1 run, 6 lengths behind Gold Rock. Hang in last 500 meters, that was with a 1400 meter Vaal, can improve. And number 14, Tandikele, last time out they didn't run too well, raced wide, but the run before that he ran second behind Queen of Soul. So this is all horses you can include in your play, but for my quartet, for my pick 6 purposes, I'm just sticking with numbers 1 and 2. Then we move on to the 4th race, which is also a maiden plate over 1450. And here also again number 1, Cotopaxi, I think is due for a win, but also drawn 12. Last few runs, last time fastest 400 to finish. Late channels, but I must say he was fastest 400 finish, but on like 25.3. Now this is not a horse that you're going to go to with to Hollywood, but yeah, an interesting thing is this horse is by Skitkizel. I read in a magazine, I think it was Turf News, that this horse was owned by Chris van Niekerk, and it's also a son of Jetmaster like Pomodoro, and he's had a very high strike rate. But after 11 runs, this horse is still a maiden, but I think today will be his day. Dangers is number 2, Bellevue. Bellevue has also been there and thereabouts, ran second 3 races ago. Had some 1 or 2 finishes where it came from behind. So a horse that you need to definitely include. You know, I think one of the dangers today is number 4, Statale. Um, I did tip it last time out, and over the 60 nanometers, say handy no more. Today it's drawn 1 over 1450. Definitely the pick 6 inclusion that a horse that you have to include in your pick 6. And then I want to give you a real roughie for the quartet that you have to include. Is drawn 15. I can't see this horse win, but you know, if you're looking for something that the quartet pays, um, this jockey Schwartz has ridden this horse once, and it ran third with him on the Turffontein inside track, also over 1450. 2 runs before that, it ran third and a fifth. So I think the horse is currently like 66 to 1. Do include that in your play, in your quartets, when you do your quartets, because if this comes in today, you know, this finish in the placings, it sure is going to make your payout a little bit more, and you're going to stand in a payout queue laughing, thanking Outsider Genie. Yeah, then other horses in this field, maybe with a little bit of a chance, number 14, Daphne du Maurier or something like that. I can't pronounce some of these. You might also want to throw that into your quartet. We then move on to the fifth race, which is a merit rated 88 handicap. The Class B handicap, average merit rating 85. Now, here my first selection is number 8. Lazarus Tree. Lazarus Tree ran behind Roy Tom last time second, but if you look at the turnaround in weights, he should finish in front of Roy Tom now. It's also been ran on behind African Rock. Also in the turnaround in weights should finish in front of African Rock. But this is a very open field. Anything can win. I also do fancy Dan DeLatte. He liked the distance 1400, 1450. Never a horse to discount. He's running a little bit down in class from his previous races. Yeah, Rivonia Boulevard is always thereabouts. Ferraris. Luke Ferraris, I see, is now riding a lot for Terry since Lyle Hewitson has left. So that, and they're having a few winners, and not a horse to leave out. And also Roy Tom, I also like Roy Tom again, so do include that in your play as well. I see there's not an asterisk behind Dean Swartz's name anymore, so I would think that he's a qualified jockey now. I hope he will do well. The favorite here is number 4, Palace Assembly, Karen Murray riding. But I like this horse, and I've tipped it a few times before. But I'm not sure whether the horse can do the 1450, although it's running from behind, so time will tell. Yeah, in my pick 6, I've included the field here because there's another horse, number 9. I was tempted to put in the first 8, and then I realized, you know, sometimes, you put in a horse and you leave him out, and then this horse won. Because this horse ran close to Roy Tom before. And so maybe that can, I don't know, I've just felt I'm going to put in the field here so that if this number 9 comes up on us, I do have it in my pick 6. We then move on to race number 6, which is a Class C handicap 75. It is a minute rate to 80 handicap. Also another open race, a lot of horses with chances. Race 6. My first selection is number 14, which is Basilica Santo. This horse comes from a short rest. The last time out it won at 44 to 1. I actually gave that as my selection. It also came off a rest, so it does seem to me that this horse to come off a rest. So he is run, in similar classes, and I think that he might be running on the end to take the race. But there are a lot of horses with chances, Number 10, Gem Cutter, I have included in my pick 6. It's been around, you know, and this is 1,000 meters. She's been shown pace over a little bit further and then fades at the end. So today, Paul Matchett has put her over the 1,000 meters, and I'm sure she can go close. Another horse that I include in my pick 6 is number 9, Tokolos. I just got a feeling, that although the form doesn't show this, I think this horse is a little bit better than the form showed. And I'm willing to give it another chance. Although it ran second in Kimberley last time out, you shouldn't let that put you off. I've seen horses come from Kimberley winning races here. But I mean, if I look a few runs back in November, she ran 2 lengths behind King of the Delta, which is not a donkey. This horse ran 2 lengths behind True Charm. So definitely a horse that can come in as an outsider and accept, upset the upper card. Touch of Faith Seister -2.5. Also ran a good second behind Grease-Pain last time, but also very inconsistent. Then number 6, Captain Hindsight, must have a chance. Craig Bantam, drawn 15. Last time out it ran 0.1 behind Sweet Trial. Sweet Trial was my first selection in this race. It was her first run outside of a maiden, so that was a very good run for the horse running first time out of a maiden. Then number 5, Star Flash, Barham Bourses coming to form. Also include that into your play. You also have Sullenberger, which last time out didn't run as expected. Now it's got Warren Kennedy on board. So let's see how it's going to run today. And then also Pillar of the Earth. Always there and thereabout, tries his heart out. Last time out he ran in a much higher division. He ran in a 91 against Chief of State, and then ran second to a Grease Point in a 82. So definitely a horse that you need to include, because as this is a class C average merit rating 75, this horse is now has run against 91, 83, 92, 84, 82. So definitely down in class. Obviously it's carrying 62 for a reason, but this horse is not without a chance, so also need to be included. We then move on to race number race number 7, which is a graduation plate. Now, class C rating 79. Here we've got a very strong favorite in the race. I think his betting is like 13 to 20. Let me just check quickly. What is the betting on this horse? This horse is currently 15 to 20. Now, I can tell you this, I won't be rushing to take 15 to 20. Yes, this horse has won its last 2 races. Yes, it has beaten Pink by 4 lengths. But let me tell you, Pink is not the world beater. Pink has been battling for a long time to win a race. So, yes, the horse can win, and maybe after the race everybody will say, I'm a fool. But this fool won't bank at this horse. I can tell you that now today. I've seen horses like this get beaten because people get carried away. He's won 2 races in a row because there's some very good horses in this race. Because if you look at number 2 at hand, must have definitely have a chance. But the horse that's got the best weighted is actually number 8, and this is a horse from the Michael the Cox stable, and has had 1 win over this course and distance. So definitely a horse last time out behind Lady of Steel. A slow last 1 length, was running on at the end. Brian Yahweh has won with this horse before. It's a Mambo Seattle out of a Fordwood mare, and definitely a horse that I won't leave out. And then also my pick 6, I've included number 2 at the hand from St. John Gray. He's a stable in form. The horse likes, will have a chance over this distance. And also, there's other horses that have a chance. Number 2, Last of the Legend, also well handicapped in this race. And then also Christopher Robin. Obviously, they're a little bit out on the weights because of the fact that it's a gradation plate. So definitely not a race where I'll be bankering number 1. We then move on to the last race, which is race 8, which is another maiden plate over 1800 meters. And here my strong first selection is number 1, Rock You. I'm sure this horse will go close, has been improving all the while, will like the distance, been running on fastest 400 to finish twice out of, and the other time out of the 3 races, twice fastest 400 to finish, and then the other race he was second fastest 400. In his first race over the 1200 meter he was doing 23.6, which is very good. The only thing is it's drawn 10, but I'm sure with the experience of Marco van Rensburg, it won't be a problem. Number 2, Great Flyer, is definitely improving, and will also be involved in the finish. Then there's not strong form. The rest of the field are very weak. I see there's a horse, number 5, Salafina, ran third last time, 6.75 lengths behind. And then also a horse that this was number 9, Amberglow Star. This horse has got not very good form, but 2 runs back he ran 4th, although 8 lengths behind. But this is the type of horse that Romeo Francis can win with. So do not leave it out of your big 6. I cannot say to you it's going to win. I cannot say to you it's not going to win. But all I can say to you is that I've been following Romeo Francis for a very, very long time. And that's the type of thing that he can win with. So do include number 9, Amberglow Star, in your quartets and your big 6s. We then move down to number 13, Dark Class. Has had 2 runs. Very well. It's also stoutly bred, Modus Vivendi out of Dan's Alley. Dan's Alley has thrown a few mares. I think Jive Express is one of them, if I'm not mistaken. Has been over shorter distances, but I can tell you today the 1800 meter will suit him, although drawn 15, that might not be in his favor. Then also number 15, Ocean Forest, as a Duke of Marmalade filly, has also been improving last time out over the 1600 meters, fastest 400 to finish, 23.8, hung out. Okay, hanging out. I can tell you that number 15 will definitely be involved in the finish, and drawn 5, Kamala riding for Alec Reed. Do not leave out, I've included this also in my pick 6. So that then brings us to the conclusion of today's preview. I just wanted to remind you quickly, just click on the subscribe and ring the bell, and you'll get notified every time that we post a preview. Have a great day. Break a leg.